Hi, my name is Jesse Bielman. I served as U.S. Special Operations Combat Controller from 2011 through 2017. And more recently, about 4 months ago, I was found in the morning unconscious with a very faint pulse. I was taken to the hospital and put under an induced coma medically. I had extreme rhabdomyolysis. I had multiple organ failure, including heart failure, kidney failure, and it wasn't looking good for a while.
Yeah, I remember waking up early in the morning and getting the phone call from the hospital that Jesse had been brought in, and I guess he had been found by his roommate. In the morning time, he was unconscious, and by the time they called us, he was already in really bad condition. They weren't sure what had happened, why he was even in this situation, and honestly, it was at that point where it was like we didn't know if he was going to live or die. So it was a really, really scary moment.
So after a few days of remaining in the coma, I was taken out, but unfortunately I suffered a second seizure, so I was brought back to the hospital where I was taken to neurology for an MRI, and they found out that I had some sclerosis on my hippocampus. It turned into a pretty negative situation. I was put on seizure medication, heart medication. I was told that I had to take most of these medications indefinitely for the rest of my life. I'd gotten my license taken away, I couldn't work, I was still completely out of it, I was foggy, I could barely communicate, I couldn't move, I was still in severe pain. It was a pretty terrible situation for me and my family.
And they were telling us all kind of things like they didn't know if his heart was going to ever recover, he might have to get a heart transplant. I mean, he couldn't sleep, he wasn't getting any sleep at all, and it was just so much pain. And the worst part of it was just feeling so helpless, like there was nothing I could do to help him, and just to watch him, dealing with this day in and day out. It was bad. It was really, really bad.
It was about at that time that I was able to be introduced to Dr. Ken Holtorf. I had managed to make it over to Holtorf Clinic. I hobbled into the office. We had gone through the meeting, and by the end of it, he had applied some of his stem cell cream to my foot, and quite literally in about 3 to 5 minutes, he had slapped my foot to test it out. There was no pain. So I'd gone from limping into the clinic to being able to walk out of the clinic with no pain. I had flexion in my foot. I had no pain in the toes, which previously, even about 20 minutes before that, it was excruciating. So it was a pretty unbelievable feat in just that small amount of time that was done. Luckily, now that the pain was gone, all of a sudden now I was dealing with the realization that I was suffering with pretty major depressive and anxiety symptoms. It was pretty dark days at that point. I considered going on antidepressants, which I had been on in the past, but I just didn't want to go that route. It didn't work for me. So I'd gotten Dr. Holtorf, and we decided to try peptide therapy for my symptoms. So it was a few days until I started to notice the benefit and the changes that I felt from the different peptides that I was taking, and within a week it was a huge difference from how I'd been feeling beforehand. I mean, I was getting up in the morning and I was actually motivated to start my day. I was exercising, so I had this abundance of energy in my system, and I was wanting to take advantage of life again, and I felt like myself again. So I'd gone from the state of mind of waking up and having no motivation. It's like I couldn't see color. I didn't listen to music, and all of a sudden, the tables had turned, and I was wanting to get out and enjoy things again for the first time in a long time. So it's been about 4 months since the initial accident that happened with me. I feel amazing. I attribute most, if not all, of the way I'm feeling to this type of medicine that previously I had no idea about. In fact, I wish more people knew about this type of medicine. I've been telling everyone that I know, especially family and friends who deal with the same things, such as depression, anxiety, certain types of injuries, all these different veterans that unfortunately, due to bureaucracy, can't take advantage of, knowing at least of this type of medicine that really is out there, that utilized.